and Tweedledum, the dynamic duo from hell. Since they moved further away from the United Kingdom and decided to assert their strength, right? Is it true that the relationship is falling apart and they're going to have a separation? Honestly, I call bullshit on this whole thing. I think that the media is trying, or whoever is spreading this rumor is just wishful thinking. I agree that with other commentators that you shouldn't wishful think that somebody's relationship ends. It's just bad karma all around. If you're sitting around clasping your hands and twiddling your thumbs or going like this with your fingers saying, ooh, I hope they break up in a dark corner or basement somewhere, you've got some issues and you're going to attract some bad karma to yourself. However, to call her out for the phony fake she is and to call him out for the entitled, unappreciative, privileged little brat that he is, there's nothing wrong with calling people out, but let's just be real. Don't wish the downfall of somebody's relationship. You're just going to attract bad karma. So do I see this crumbling and falling apart? At the center of the situation, we have the Strength card, perseverance after moving and then possibly crumbling in the future. But I'm not, to be frank with you guys, I'm not seeing that right now, but let's see what the cards have to say. Are they having a separation right now? H&M, Tweedledee, and Tweedledum. Okay, so the Magician and the Ace of Wands. 10 of Swords. So again, manifesting their new beginning despite pain and feeling stuck and feeling like they want to win people over to like them. And ultimately, the family unit that they have is most important to them. So no, I'm not seeing it. I am seeing negative emotions, but I'm not seeing a separation. Separation, yes or no. Looking back at the past and what could have been. I'm not seeing a separation, no. Again, in front of the world, we want to appear as a rested, cohesive family, one of optimism and happiness, the family unit. So no, they are not getting a separation. Ridiculous rumors that are being spread by, I don't know, people who wishful think of the downfall of people's relationships, which is bizarre. Maybe people who do that are not happy in their own relationships, or they desire to be in one so bad that they want to wish somebody's relationship ends. I do think it's a different thing, like I said, to call it out for what you see. If you see somebody as a fake, whiny, privileged, you know what, then you're going to call it out. If you see another person as a fake, whiny, privileged, you know what, the only difference is she looks like she does and he looks like he does, they're both privileged and whiny, then call it out. But, you know, birds of a feather flock together. They're a match made in hell, like I always say. I don't see them separating anytime soon. If they do, it's probably not going to be for another 4 years or so, like I predicted in my other videos. And they feel like they're moving towards their good luck. You know, their train that they're generating, the fast-moving train in the direction of wokeness and complaining about all the privileges you have in life, meanwhile telling everybody else they're privileged, right? That's the train they're on, and they're not about to get off. They're on that, you know, deluded, brainwashed, let's feel like victims all the time, even though we sit in $1 million mansion and complain about all the things we have in life and complain about daddy when I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth and complain about myself acting like I'm some, you know, down-to-earth woman when I gold digged my way to the top. You know, let's just be real. Let's just be real. And I don't hate on her being hypergamous. I've said this many times. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's actually very natural for women to be hypergamous. If men are going to claim it's natural for them to like younger women, then they have to accept the fact that it's also natural for women to be hypergamous and stop having double standards. You know, let's just be honest. If you're going to go on evolutionary psychology, and I am somebody who studies psychology, that is what it is. So just admit it. Don't be broke and don't ask women to help you. And if you do, just admit that you need help. Don't act like you don't need help and then turn around and mock women and call them gold diggers. You know, when I use the term gold digger, it's just to describe somebody, but I'm not putting her down for doing that. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with her doing it. What's wrong with her is that she's a hypocrite. It's that she acts like she's a very confident woman, independent woman. I'm so independent, but then she was hypergamous, and that's how she even got noticed, because nobody knew who the heck the D-list actress was until she married a prince. So again, they're writing the beautiful chapter of their lives right now, the open book to that, and they know everybody's watching, and they've had some difficulties. They've lost some money. They've also made a lot of money, but maybe they lost a deal or something, or a deal fell through. And they feel like, oh, poor me, I've had bad luck, boo-hoo, feel sorry for me. You know what their narrative is. It's built entirely on victimizing themselves. So ultimately, you know, people like Bethany Frankel have commented on this. You can't build an entire platform off self-victimization, because eventually that's going to fall flat. It's not a good business scheme. You don't have enough variation. So, you know, they're trying to have a rebirth and a balancing out in their relationship. They're making some hard decisions right now when it comes to business deals and stuff like that. They're doing the typical, you know, woe is me, we've got so much to do. I'm a cool mom. Meanwhile, you have a whole staff of people helping you. You're not a down-to-earth person like you claim you are, Meghan. And then, you know, their wishes are coming true. They're working towards their hope, their wishes, their dreams, and building a future together. So ultimately, they're focused on the positivity of the relationship and building their empire and the good news they expect to get because of that, and they're celebrating one another and that they walked away. So they're still living in the land of denial, right? In the sense that they're living in the land of denial, in the sense that they feel like it was a good thing ultimately to walk away from the family. That's what I mean by living in the lands of denial. They feel like that was the overall good thing. And I think that's more so Harry's denial than her denial. I do think it was a good thing for her to be a grifter and a hypocrite and social climb her way to the top and then do what she did, because she got so much fame and money from him. She's not really a totally self-made woman, because she's always done it on the shoulders of men as climbing her way to the top. She did not really do it herself, starting from her father and how she used and discarded him to the multiple people that she has dated to social climb to the top. So, I mean, if it wasn't for him, she did very well for herself. Nobody would even know who she is. Being on a little like soap, you know, show with lawyers, nobody knew who she was. It was a Canadian show. Nobody knew who the heck she was. So she did well for herself. I will give her that. She really did. If she would just admit she's hypergamous and that's the way she likes to live, I'd have more respect for her. But I don't, because she doesn't admit it. I don't like hypocrites. And then we have the other hypocrite in the other corner who really lost out. He's in denial that this was good for him, walking away from his family. He's in severe denial still. He thinks this was a good thing. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. And in fact, in his past, he wore Nazi uniforms to Halloween parties, and he had to have an intervention, a mental health intervention from Daddy Charles when he was younger, and then he wants to point fingers and allegedly accuse Charles of the prejudice or racism. Isn't that rich? That he did that when he was younger, and then he wants to turn around and accuse his father of that, or let his wife be his mouthpiece to do that, or convince him to do that, whoever the hell wanted to say it. I have a feeling she convinced him to be on board with that, and make cryptic statements to Oprah to make his father sound like the devil. So, because we all know it's probably allegedly about Charles or Camilla. It's not probably about William or Catherine, that comment about Archie and his tone. So 10 of Pentacles, the family, you know, since he's walked away from the family, he's had a heavy burden, because people see him for who he is. His favorability with the British people has declined. Nobody really likes him anymore. They're like, let the door hit you on the ass. We don't want you back. Like, don't let it hit you on the ass. You know, and it was led mostly, going forward, was led mostly by his wife. So we don't, you know, he has this disappointment, but I think he's compartmentalizing it, or he's not fully recognizing how he feels about basically losing his family. And I think he does miss them to some degree, but it hasn't fully registered with him. There's still this, you know, bizarre, uncertain energy with him where he does feel uncertain about the things ahead. This is about him, but he's kind of in denial. And, you know, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to love your kids and love your family. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm reading their emotional states. And that's why I said from the beginning of this reading, is he, you know, is he having a separation from her? No, because he feels that this is what he wants to do, that she wears the pants, you know, she made a good decision for them to leave, and he is on board with it. But I think he is very much in denial about his emotional problems surrounding the separation from his other family. And, you know, since leaving his other family over there, he feels that all he has to live for is his wife. And ultimately, yeah, that's a good thing to be dedicated to your wife. Your wife should come first, but not at the expense of basically excommunicating the other family members entirely. Like, somebody who asks their spouse to do that is not a good person. So I don't really care who it is. I don't care what any argument people want to make about that. If somebody asks you basically to cut off your family to be with them, they are nothing but a prince or princess of wands. And remember, that's not the king or queen of wands. That's a player. That's a snake oil salesman. That's a smooth talker, right? That's not the mature energy. That's not the king or queen of wands. That's a knight, a princess, or a princess of wands. So, you know, he does feel very much in love with her still. He does not want to leave. He misses his grandmother. Well, when you trash talk her legacy in her last days, that's what happens. You know, you have some regrets. You kind of regret it a little bit more than others. And, you know, he's focused on victory moving forward with his wife. And he wants to celebrate that. And you have the two brothers competing with one another. You know, who's going to look better? But ultimately, we all know Willie's going to come out on top. Hey, he's a future king. But that's what I have. Is he going to leave her? No, he's not going to leave her. He feels happy about this. He feels fulfilled with it. He feels very much in lust or love with her, or both. And that's what it is. So it's not nice. Like, don't wish people to get divorces or separations. I mean, I'm not talking specifically to my subscribers, but new people who come on here. You know, I can dislike people. You can dislike people. But you don't want to send out bad karma, like saying, oh yeah, I hope they break up. Oh, I hope they divorce. You know, but call a spade, right? If you're a grifter, if you're a narcissistic person, if you're a liar, if you're a manipulator, I'm going to call it out. And that's what we do on this channel. And that's why you guys like watching River and P. Dinah and Taz and the Royal Rogue and everybody else and all the tarot readers like me who comment on this grifting, manipulative, privileged, entitled couple who are not appreciative for anything they have in life, and all they can do is whine and complain as the consummate victims who represent all that's wrong with woke culture. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.